through this breakout line with some kind of authority, and you can see that's what happened here. You got this long line, and that said, okay, well, we got a really big down candle. There's a really good chance that the market can continue down here, and that's exactly what happened this morning. So you can see. So the nice thing about this is this will give you the price in advance. So when this green was here, it was certainly telling you what price to enter with your broker. Then it adjusted. It told you exactly what price to enter with your broker. You can see the market didn't continue down, and the set point stayed the same until the market shot through there. So the short signal here was 114.42, and you can see that the market went down about 50 pips. The exit signal for the breakouts is a 314 EMA crossover, which I don't have currently on this chart, or it's a MACD dot in the opposite direction. There was no MACD dot in the opposite direction, basically because the histogram was so choppy here that the MACD dot didn't trigger. But it's not hard to imagine a 314 EMA crossover occurred somewhere around in this, and this was around a 50 pip winner. I'm not going to ignore this. Obviously, this was a long breakout. You can see at one point the market shot up here, and the breakout system assumed that it would continue higher, and it failed to do so. So there's obviously a losing trade on this chart as well. When you do enter the market, this red line or the blue line draws for 20 candles. Remember, in the MACD dots, we waited 5 candles for a choppy market or 10 candles for a trending market. For breakouts, the testing has shown that it's best to wait 20 candles. So this is a 20 candle line. At the end of this line, if you're not profitable or you haven't exited, then it's simply time to get out. We've all read books that said, cut your losses short and let your winners run. But when you buy a system or you look at a system or design a system, nobody has any rules to define exactly how you cut your losses short. Or they don't have equally important, they don't have any methodology to explain how to let your winners run. And we do that. If it's a black dot, it's 5 candles. If you haven't seen enough profit to move break even, then simply get out. If it's a blue dot, it's 10 candles. If it's a breakout, it's 20 candles. So there are very clearly defined rules about when you would exit your position. Okay, so that's basically the breakout system. Let me just go back, just because it's just happened recently. This is a short signal. This black dot obviously is a short signal. And remember, I was saying that it would plot and tell you exactly what the entry price is. And you can see these small red dots that are plotting, telling you. And if you look over here on NinjaTrader, it's telling you that the short signal is at 114.72. Right now is not a great time of day to trade, so I'm not suggesting anybody run to their broker and dial them up and enter this position. But the good thing about this is if this market, if in 5 candles it doesn't touch this price, then this is a non-trade and we won't be in this market. So I just want to point that out, that this is how these dots plot, and this is how NinjaTrader tells you exactly what price you would want to enter the market right here. Okay, so that's the breakout system. I'll just show you a couple more breakout trades. Well, this is kind of interesting. This is one that's actually searching right now. So this isn't one I planned on looking at, but it's kind of interesting. So I'll talk about this, and it'll kind of show you a little. It'll show you hopefully a little bit of some of the intelligence that's built into the breakout system. Let's see. Well, I need to scroll my chart over because I don't think you can see that far. There we go. And I realize this yellow doesn't show up very well for the presentation, but you can see right now the system is searching for a short. This is the US Canadian, searching for a short at 97.66, and it's searching for a long at 9812 up here. So, and these are kind of built like stoplights. Green is good, yellow is caution. So what this is saying is, if the market got down to 97.66, then we would enter a breakout. That seems highly unlikely at this point. At this time of day, I would expect the market just to fizzle out, and this breakout will eventually stop looking. If we get up here to 9812, it's saying to take a breakout long. The interesting thing about this is this one's yellow, and just like a stoplight, that means caution. And the reason the system is cautioning you is because look how far the market's moved today already. This is a big move. The 97.20, 98.20, just cheap for math purposes. So this is a big move for the Canadian dollar. Look what it's done the last couple of days. So relatively speaking, big move. So this breakout's warning you that the market has already moved more than it would normally move in a day. So it's moved almost one full ATR, which stands for average true range, which is how much it would move in a day. So it's saying be very careful about taking a breakout long here, because we think the market's exhausted and it's highly improbable that the market would continue up here. On the other hand, it's saying if we were to get a breakout short, the system likes that idea because the market has moved up so high that it is probable that if we were to reach this value that the market could retrace again. So it's actually warning you here about a breakout long, and it's actually saying, yeah, if we got this breakout short, that's good. There are some trading rules that say that this is a bad time of day to trade a 15-minute chart, but if you were to ignore that, the system is giving you some guidance here on what it thinks is a good breakout versus a bad breakout. So that's kind of interesting. Just because it's happening right now, I just wanted to point that out. See, kind of trying to catch my place here. Alright, so let's just see what the pound dollar. So here's a breakout that occurred yesterday on the pound dollar. Same thing. So we went short at 1.6024. And again, the exit signal would have been the EMA cross, which would have occurred right in this neighborhood here around 61.20. So this was about an 80-85 pip winner on a breakout. And you can see how, in most cases, you can see how the dots and the breakouts play well together. And we have a reversal signal and a MACD dot and a breakout. This is all three systems right here, which is not all that frequent to see all three systems trigger at the same time. But they all three like the idea of being short here. And you can see the market went down, retraced. Now we're in a trend. So the red dot picks up, we go down, we retrace, still in a trend, another red dot picks up. We go down, we retrace, another red dot. Turns out this guy's wrong. And now you can see we got a black dot. We have two things. We have a potential breakout saying, hey, if the market continues up, maybe it's going to break higher. And we're also having a black dot that says, okay, we retraced, I think the market's going to go back down. So the breakout hasn't triggered yet. So it's just a potential breakout. It's not at this point, it's not a conflicting signal or anything like that. But there certainly are occasions where signals can conflict, and there are rules to handle that and see which signal trumps the other signals. Alright, I need to move on to reversals here, and actually we just saw one, so we'll just look at that. Reversals, as I said, are about 5% of the market signals, and we got one here yesterday on the British pound. The reversal dots are also Bollinger Band based. The candles have to, this is the only time I actually pay attention to candlestick patterns. For a short reversal, the candle has to be a shooting star, or as closely as I could code it. And for a long signal, it has to be a hammer, which is basically just the opposite of a shooting star. Also, because it's Bollinger based, it has to be a certain volatility as measured by the width between the upper and lower bands, so you can't get tiny little reversals in an area like this, which is possible in some systems. So that's filtered out. The market has to be moving, which it was here. To get a reversal, the candle has to be a certain shape, and the entire candle has to be outside the upper Bollinger Band. If I were to put Bollinger Bands on here, that would look something like this. So this entire candle is outside the band. This is extremely rare. It happens around 2% of the time of all candles, so we don't get a lot of reversals. When we do, they're pretty significant. They are the least conservative of the three systems. You can see the MACD dots always wait a couple candles to be sure about rollovers. I remember we saw the breakout stay search for a couple of candles before they're typically triggered. Reversals not. They see a candle, they like it, and they say enter the market. And it's not uncommon to see a MACD dot 2 to 3 candles later, but there's no reason not to enter just on a reversal. I know a couple of guys who wait till the MACD dot, but you can see in this case that you would have you would have given up 10, 15, 20 pips by waiting for a confirmation from the MACD dot. And quite frankly, if you're going to wait for a confirmation from the MACD dot, you really didn't need a reversal in the first place. So that's how the reversals work. They have the exact same rules as the MACD dots. On a 15-minute chart, you wait 1 pip below the candle low. It was 30 pips on a 4-hour chart. It's obviously a lot less on a 15-minute chart. So you wait 1 pip. This is your entry price. The market goes down, and then you use MACD crossover or a dot in the opposite direction. You see that we got a noisy area here, so we're not going to get a long signal, but we did eventually get a MACD crossover and in this area right here, and that would have been your exit signal. Whether you decide to add to that signal, you. Typically, if I had moved to break even on the reversal or the black dot, then I would have taken a breakout, but I wouldn't double up on my trade just because I got 2 signals unless I had taken the risk off of the first trade. And the rules are just the same. Just like MACD dots, the stop loss would have been above a previous high, which I'd have to scroll back and show you. And if there is no previous high within a day or two on a 15-minute chart, then we would go a maximum of 3 ATR. And that's all discussed in the manual. So we'll just quickly look at a couple more breakouts on the 4-hour charts just to show you that they can happen there as well. Let's see. Euro CAD. So you can see we got a reversal a couple days ago here on the Euro Canadian. And you can see reversals are almost always at or near the bottom. And you can see this candle's a hammer shaped. And reversals, if the market doesn't reverse immediately, at least the market stops. So again, we would look at a previous low. In this case, here's a previous low, so that's where our stop loss would be. Sorry about inability to draw straight lines again. But and then we would properly position size. You don't risk any more on a 4-hour chart than you do on a 15-minute chart. So some people don't like the fact that this stop is 50 or 60 or 80 pips, or sometimes it's even bigger than that. But you're risking 3% of your account, and you can see the 4-hour chart and the moves are much, much bigger. So it kind of all evens out in the end. So you can see this reversal. Basically, the market didn't immediately reverse, but the market did stop. And that's the things about reversal. The market either stops or reverses. So even if after 5 candles you're not successful here, you at least have the ability to get out in this region here, which is approximately break even. So it's not very common that you get a reversal and the market just blows past that, because it's so statistically improbable that this entire candle is outside the band that typically the market is pretty good about snapping back in this in this area. So we'll just look at one more and then we'll move on here. The pound yen 240, and this is actually kind of rare to get back-to-back reversal dots, but it happened a couple days ago. And you see here that the reversal did actually pick the highest candle, and then another one came in a candle after that. So it's extremely rare to have 2 consecutive candles that would be totally outside the Bollinger Bands. And you can see the MACD dot followed a couple candles later as before, and you can see what the market did here. So about 134 down to an exit of 132. Maybe if you had a trailing stop, you might have gotten more than 200 pips, but worst case scenario, you got 200 pips on these reversals. So that's the reversal system. So there's a couple of things on the website that we're really proud of, and I wanted to talk about, and getting a little short on time, so I'll kind of go through these quickly. The first one I'm really proud of is these correlation tables. There's no correlation tables on the internet that cover as many currencies or as many time frames. You can see we cover 15 minute, 60, 240 daily. You don't have to click on these. You simply just mouse over these. I'm hearing some feedback. John, is that you?
Sorry, yes.
Yes. So you just mouse over this and it'll give you the time frame, and you can see all the currencies are in a grid here, and we have about 50 currencies, and we added, because a lot of people ask us for this, we added gold, silver, oil, and the S&P 500. So if you think there's some correlation between the S&P 500 and the pound dollar or the euro dollar, or oil and the Canadian dollar, a lot of people think there's some correlation there, which which there may or may not be. I'm not saying they're bad people, but we did add these because people had requested these. So there's a lot of currencies here. I mean, there's South African, the Rand, Turkish lira, Singapore, Hong Kong. There's a lot of currencies here that you won't find anywhere else on a correlation chart. And again, it tells you that it's currently updating. You just mouse over it and it'll tell you the correlations. And if you have a particular correlation that you want to look at, you simply click on that square and it'll kind of mark your spot for you, then you can just kind of move around. But as you scroll over these squares, you can see the prices updating. So wherever you scroll, it updates. And as you're witnessing right now, this correlation table updates every 15 minutes. So in the background, we use NinjaTrader. It calculates the correlation values and then it uploads them to the website. The second thing I want to discuss is the Forex calculator. This is a really handy calculator, and it has a bunch of different functions here. This can be downloaded free from the website. But basically you can enter your position size, how much you want to risk in a trade, how many pips your stop loss. You can pick any pair, and you can calculate standard, mini, micro lots, and you can even pick the currency, your home currency. So Australian, Canadian, francs, whatever. We picked all the major currencies here, and you enter your information, you click calculate, and it'll tell you how much you're risking, what the pip value is, how much you're risking per pip, and how many lots you could trade. So in this case, it's a mini lot, so it's saying you could risk 6 mini lots. And then you can also look at the margin. You can take these results, you can import those into your margin, and you can pick various margin levels, and you can calculate, and it'll tell you how many dollars you could lose until you get a margin call, how many pips to margin call. We also have a pip value calculator, so if you want to know what the value of the pound yen is in many lots, you calculate that and it'll tell you. We have rollover values. These are all theoretical. Your broker may take a little bit from you and not give you the theoretical amount. You can say long or short. It'll go out and it'll get all the current interest rates, and it'll tell you how many pips you make or loss per day based on rollover. Correlation values will actually go to this correlation table, and it will get these current values. So if you look at the pound dollar, euro dollar, right now it's saying 88. The correlation table, it would be these same values. There's just a little calculator here, and you can also get quotes. So if you want to know what the US Canadian dollar current quote is, it will show you that quote. So if you don't have charts open or something, you just want a quick quote, it'll show you that as well. And this is free and downloadable from the home page. All right. So just go quickly about how I trade here. I know I'm running out of time here. I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to when reports are coming out or anything like that. I simply just trade the signals I get. I've done a lot of testing, and I've tried to trade around the news, and I found out that it just didn't help me. I don't look at pivot points, Fibonacci. We use EMAs for exit, but I don't put EMAs on the charts to tell me when the market's going up or down. The color of the dots, it's already built into the dots. I don't look for chart patterns. I'm not like a head and shoulders guy or double bottom or triple top or any of that stuff. And I don't really look at a lot of candle patterns either. So that what I care about is built into the system. I don't really pay attention to support and resistance. I'm not going to scroll back last week and see when the high and low was and think that possesses magical powers. I don't believe in round numbers or the 20 number or the 80 number or any of that stuff. I simply trade the system as it's designed. If there was something that I thought that possessed any of these magical abilities, quite frankly, I would have built it into the system. I'm not going to show you examples on other charts, but we do have guys who trade E-minis, gold, oil, different things like that. I personally haven't done extensive testing on that, so I'm not real comfortable saying that the system will work on other things, but we do have guys who trade it on other indices and other instruments, and they report success, but I'm personally not here to tell you that that's the case. I'm a Forex guy, and that's what I do for a living, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so we're just going to summarize here, and then I'll turn it over to to John here. So hopefully you can see this overview. This will just take a minute here. The advantage of Currensys is we talked about 3 different systems here. We talked about MACD dots that work in trending and range-bound markets. And remember, I talked about not giving money back in range-bound markets. So this system actually has the ability to make some money in range-bound market or to keep you out of range-bound markets. We talked about reversal dots. It's like an airplane stalling. Like if an airplane goes straight up, at some point that becomes unsustainable, and the market has to reverse. And the reversal dots are looking for those statistical situations and trying to identify those to you. And we talked about the Bollinger breakouts. They occur from explosions out of low volatility markets, which happens in the Asian session a lot. They only work on the 15-minute charts because we need those compression of candles. They're typically in the Asian. It doesn't have to be the Asian session, but it typically is. And the market doesn't sit still for days at a time, so the breakouts are really only good for the 15-minute charts. The other 2 systems are good on any charts. So it's basically one system. So you don't sit around and you say, okay, well today I think I'll put MACD dots in my system, and tomorrow I think I'll put Bollinger breakouts. All 3 sit on your charts. They're all 3 looking at separate market conditions, and typically at any time, probably 2 of them are actively looking for trades, and the other one simply is filtered out because it's not in a market condition where it would trigger. So we talked about MACD dots. You can see in a trending market, you have the blue signals for an uptrend. Same thing with the downtrend. You can see we get the red dots in the downtrend. And again, because this is a black chart, you see the white dots instead of the black dots. Here's a choppy market. You can see we get dots on both sides of the market. And then this is not exciting to a lot of people. One of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that in a flat market, you actually get no dots, and that's what keeps you from giving all your money back from a trending market. So this is as important or more important than any other signal you would get, the fact that you don't get signals. We talked about reversal dots. Here's an example where reversal dots, and you can see it did a pretty good job of picking highs and lows in the market here. Breakouts. Red breakouts are short, and blue breakouts are long. And you can see that you have big market consolidation here before we got a breakout long. So those are the 3 systems. All right, I'm going to turn this over to John, assuming his mic is working, and I'll let him finish up these last couple of slides.
Hey, I'll try. Can you hear me? Well, I hope so. Anyway, cool. Very sorry that my mic didn't work there for a while and didn't introduce Phil. Just real quick, Phil and I have known each other. I was actually one of Phil's first clients back 6.5 years ago. Probably a life-changing event. Happy to be associated with him, and obviously thanks for NinjaTrader for allowing us to do this. Anyway, we have on trade reviews and weekly updates, we have about 322 weekly reviews. They're on our blog site, as well as also we've been doing it in YouTube under Currensys FX. So check those out. We have a live trading room every day. I shouldn't say every day. It's Monday through Thursday. I needed a break away from the guys on a daily basis, but a lot of good stuff is happening there. I did it for everybody to really understand the rules much more efficiently and effectively, how to trade the system based on our rule set, asking questions. I don't sit there and call out trades every day. That was not the objective of the room. The room was to make everybody be able to utilize the system on an individual basis, and having me there as sort of a crutch. But the information on coming into our live trading room is on our blog page. The information is there on how to log in. I think something that sets apart certainly the Currensys system and our ability to help our people, and that's unlimited one-on-one support. Phil has obviously done a great job of that over the 6.5 years. Now we have more people involved, so I think our support is probably second to none out there. Our user manual, here again, is very extensive, about 240 some pages now, and timely replies on your questions. I think that's something else that sets us apart, is our ability to get back to people. We support obviously on the phone. We're real people. We do it via email. We do it connecting your computers, a lot of different things. So this is a screenshot of our obviously our correlation table, which Phil was instrumental in putting that together along with a couple of our coders. I think it works very well, helps us out with different pairs to take in our trades, so we're not overloading in correlation. I think Muhammad there asked, do our indicators lag? I think Phil talked about that originally. We feel that the system lags less than other indicators out there. Phil also went over our free forex calculator. A lot of time and effort went into that. There's also a manual about how to use the calculator, so I think it's a real nice tool that we've put together out there for everybody. Do we have any more slides there, Phil? Okay, yeah. Correlation, watch our videos, guest chat, purchase page, and then obviously the price of the system. And I'm not going to get into other systems or platforms that we support. We support Ninja. We like those guys a lot. We appreciate their partnership. So check us out on Currensys.com. Support@Currensys.com is the general email address, or my name at Currensys.com certainly would help out anybody that wants to talk to us or has additional questions. I know there was a lot of questions on, does our system work on other indices or other different types of, whether it be futures or anything like that. We can get to that on an individual basis and show you how one would trade those different markets. I guess if there's any real quick questions, because we're running kind of over, please fire away. Phil or myself or someone will answer. Yeah, Daniel, I said that I would answer that kind of a question on an individual basis. Yes, I do trade the futures market, and yes, I do like it. On there we do have some different settings. I didn't want to really get into that today because Phil, as he said, he's a Forex guy, and that's great. The system was designed to that, but certainly there are carryovers into other indices, and we can deal with that on an individual basis. Any other quick questions? Our system is $995. Yes, I have a Skype.
There's okay, I'm And so, John, I'm going to let you finish up a couple questions here, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up and lead into the Charting Level 1 webinar. So if there's anything else, go ahead and wrap that up, and then we'll go ahead and get this, move along to the Charting Level 1.
All right, well, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks, NinjaTrader. Thanks, Phil, for taking his time. John at Currensys.com. Got any other further questions to ask, please go ahead and fire them off to me. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible, and thanks a lot.
Alright, I want to give a big thank you to both Phil and John. That was a tremendous presentation in less than ideal circumstances due to the technical issues. Hopefully you guys learned a lot about Currensys, and if you have any specific questions about the system, I would recommend you take a look at the Currensys webpage. And then additionally, we do have partner introduction events that will be occurring at the same time throughout the week that you can take a look at the schedule. So thank you again, Phil and John. I do appreciate you having you in the room here today. I learned a lot myself. I hope all our traders learned a lot here as well. Hope to have you here in the room again quickly, and hope you all have a great day. Happy trading, and I hope you all stick around for the Charting Level 1 webinar, which is a NinjaTrader daily training event which we host in this same room, and you can see the schedule at the link that I just went ahead and put in the room there. So for those of you who are going to be sticking around for Charting Level 1,